I think we have our quorum, so let's start with roll.
Davis? Jimenez?
Present.
Kamei?
Here.
Foley?
Here.
Cohen?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Just before we start, I'll make sure to repeat the code of conduct for this meeting. Everybody will address the agenda items and won't reference any specific members of the committee or of the council, and we'll talk to the committee as a whole. We won't accept abusive language and other language that we deem inappropriate. We will hopefully have good behavior from all and look forward to a productive meeting. We start with a review of the May 23rd agenda. The meeting is scheduled for 9:30 closed session, 1:30 open session. The evening session has been canceled. I have 3 ceremonial items and then consent on pages 5, 6, 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, and page 11 up to item 2.18. Section 3, we have 3 items on ethics review, the board fair campaign political practice recommendations, and the ordinance change for Title 12. Section 5, we have a BART Silicon Valley Phase 2 extension project, North resurfacing project, and local streets paving project. Section 8, update on San Pedro Street. We have a tax-exempt bond issuance that will be heard immediately after consent. That's 8.2. 8.3 is community development block grant allocation. There is no land use on the agenda. There is an ad sheet for the maker of the motion. So we'll go to public comment.
Give me a sec. Matthew?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm honorable council members. My name is Matthew Alvarez. I'm a partner with the Sutton Law Firm, also a board member of the California Political Attorneys Association. And I'm commenting on proposed ordinance to amend Title 12 of the San Jose Municipal Code. This is the campaign finance changes. I've exclusively practiced political and election law for the past decade, and I must say I'm shocked by these proposed amendments to the city's campaign finance laws. I've never seen such a blatantly unconstitutional law in my career. I hope you've all had a chance to review the letter I submitted explaining why the proposed law is so flagrantly unconstitutional. First, it's a complete abridgment of the city employees' First Amendment rights. The city has no compelling interest to prevent employees from participating in their personal time on whatever campaigns they wish and in whatever capacity they wish. This is basic First Amendment Law 101, and the city is completely ignoring it. Second, like it or not, Supreme Court precedent establishes that independent expenditures are not corrupting. This is a settled law of the land, and no amount of hand-wringing will change that. Third, the city is assuming that its employees do not have any quote unquote agency of their own. That is, if they work for a council member or mayor, everything they do is an extension of their boss. This is deeply offensive. This is guilt by association and runs entirely.
Alvarez's comments, however, they are based on an incomplete information. Now, the city attorney already admitted that the violations of the law, these weren't violations of codes of conduct or any of these are not just like real small issues that you just kind of like wanted to throw in here to just make things line up. There was an actual violation of state law. And the city attorney admits this in the memo because there's already a state law that prohibits the kind of behavior that was demonstrated here that this council is trying to amend, because what they're trying to do is cover up for Liccardo. They're trying to cover up for his staff because there's a degree of corruption that is astounding that's going on in this city. I mean, it's sickening what's going on because we already know what you have planned. This is genocide with manners. You were going to ensure, because you have those 400,000 people that are going to come here. And so you're sitting, see, we don't know what we don't know. So how could we challenge you and let you know that we know that you're breaking the law if we don't know what we don't know? Now, this city attorney is never, ever, ever going to admit any kind of wrong unless it is absolutely egregious and there's absolutely no way that she could defend herself against it. And with that said, she admitted on the record in the memo that the law was broken and that she has no clue. Like, oh, like what happened here? I don't know what happened. I don't have a clue. You knew exactly what was going on, city attorney, and you're trying to clean it up. They broke the law. It's a felony what they did.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beacon here. Thanks for the meeting today. I wanted to comment, you have a dumpster day issue coming up, or if it has possibly passed, but a dumpster day item, and Silicon Valley BART 2 project, the BART project, basically. I wanted to comment first on the dumpster day issues, to comment on my consent calendar comment that was cut off yesterday, to continue. You know, the work that San Diego is doing, they're looking to you for ideas about good communication skills, because they keep mentioning
Blair, what item on the 23rd agenda are you talking about?
dumpster day issues.
Okay.
Okay, so what I was about to say is that San Diego is really impressed in the communication skills with homeless around dumpster day issues, and dumpster day issues as a way to bring all parts of a community together. I mean, it's the highlight. It's one of the best things you do in San Jose, and I just wanted to comment on that. That I hope you can really take heart to the concepts of communication and trust that we're trying to build right now. Really work on those issues. You got this other thing going on to be really tough and strong, but we got to be open and holistic about this whole process. So good luck and continued good communication and trust building. And that goes with the BART project coming up. Tunnel building won't actually start until at least summer of 24. Learn to make that clear and learn to make things like that clear. We want to practice public safety. It's a relief to do that. Let's do that. Thanks.
Back to council.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
With
Okay.
Go ahead.
the ad sheet.
Yes, with the ad sheet.
Second.
Any questions on the agenda or comments? All right, let's vote on the agenda. All right, motion carries 4-0. Councilmember Davis is absent today. Now we have no agenda for May 30th. Since there's no meeting that week, we'll move on to the consent calendar, and let's start with public comment.
Paul?
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. With consent calendar items, I'd like to restrict my comments regarding consent calendar. The topic of consent calendar is that what I'd like to know is what methodology are you using in order to determine whether something should go on consent or whether it shouldn't? Because in the last administration, there was very few land issue items that went through consent. Now,
Paul, I need you to talk about either the public record that is on consent calendar, or I need you to talk about the special event that's on consent calendar. We're not talking generally about the concept of
calendar period,
No.
the process of consent calendar.
because I've already talked to you about that in the past. So
The
if you
consent-
have anything to say, I'm going to move
referring
on.
to the past.
The appropriate time to discuss the consent calendar on the agenda for the meeting would be when we discuss the agenda for the meeting, but this is the consent calendar of the rules meeting, which has 2 items on it today.
Call-in user 1.
Yes, hi, Martha O'Connell. I'd like to address my letter in the public record on anti-Semitic and racist comments at rules, and many, many thanks to the to the gentlemanly behavior of the chair of the committee who opened it by reminding everybody of the rules of civility. I thank you for that. I did copy both the city clerk and the city attorney on my letter, and I did get a response from the city clerk's office that they would be monitoring this better in the future. And I urge us all to be civil and not engage in any kind of race baiting or religion baiting or whatever. We're better than that. And again, thanks to the chair of the Rules Committee for reminding us of that today. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
All right, I'll accept a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, consent calendar's been moved and seconded. Let's vote. All right, motion carries 4-0. The last item today is a Rules Committee review memo from Councilmember Dewan on a purchase of an award for a couple of injured police officers. We will start with, we don't really have a presentation or anything to talk about, so we'll start with public comment.
Paul?
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. First of all, I'd like to thank the San Jose PD for the work that they do out in the community. Not all cops are dirty cops. There is a contingent, however, inside of our police department that is racist and participating in international drug dealing of fentanyl. So we have to acknowledge that too. But with respect to these officers being injured in the line of duty, that is probably one of the highest honors that could be bestowed upon a citizen in a community, is that they actually took a bullet in the service of the protection of the community. And so I'm glad that that Councilman Dewan is acknowledging this in a very public way, because it gives the opportunity of the city to hold our police department to the highest level of standards, ethics, morality, and the law. It gives us that opportunity to do that. So I thank him very much for doing this, because it's important that we do that. You know, it's important that while we do honor the people that do put themselves between a bullet and harm, that we also have an expectation. We have an absolute expectation and a right to exercise that expectation when there's international drug rings that are going on inside of the police department. I mean, we're not going to avoid that topic, you know, because it creates this contradiction within the police department when you're viewing them. I don't like having to view my police department with skepticism. I want to be able to look at my police department with respect. I want to be able to look at them with the honor that is deserving of a person that's going to put themselves between harm and the community. So that's why we need to really start talking about this international drug ring that was going on.
Back to the committee.
All right, any discussion from the committee or a motion?
Can I just get some background on what this is? I mean, I understand the key to the city, but is there a ceremony? What's involved in this?
I don't have the exact details. I know it needs to come to you because it exceeds the amount that's allowed to be spent on a ceremonial item. I believe.
Because the cost of the key, is that
Yes.
what?
Yeah, because you guys are limited to $50 or fewer, you know.
Okay.
So this exceeds that cost, so it has to come to council for approval. I believe they were going to do something at a city council meeting as well for the entire group. And then I think he has a separate ceremony for the actual police officers.
Excuse me, Councilmember Foley, I can add, I saw an email earlier today that apparently the mayor's office that puts together the guidelines for ceremonials and the invocation is going to be looking at guidelines for a key to the city, because as far as I know, at least in recent memory, this has not been something that's been awarded.
I can only think of 2 instances since I've been here. And I don't know, I wasn't in the background of either of those, but it's not something that happens often.
So I'm supportive of this, but I think we need more information about what the specific details are around it. It sounds like there's an event. Should we defer this for a week, or what's?
If you want to get more information from the manager, or I'm sorry, the mayor's office, we could defer it a week. I think it'll come forward in ceremonials is the intention, but I haven't had that confirmed.
Yeah, it looks like he's planning to present it at the June 6th council meeting, so there is time.
Yeah.
I mean, my understanding is that he wants to give them something beyond the traditional certificate and the cost of the item to give, and I guess the item is taking the form of a key, so the cost of what he's looking to provide is more than the $50 limit, and that's the only reason it's coming to rules.
Right.
I see.
If he had found a key that was $49, I guess he would have done it without having to ask for rules approval.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a reasonable conversation as to, are there certain types of ceremonial type things that we ought to have more guidelines around as opposed to others? I don't know what the feelings of the rest of the committee are.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to get bogged down in their bureaucracy of the issue right now, especially if the mayor's office is working on some sort of language, and if what we're talking about is a recognition of their heroic efforts, then I'm all supportive of that. It's the key to the city component that I'm kind of grappling with and what that means. I know we've given it to Norm Mineta and others, but
Yeah,
it's not something we give on a regular basis.
No, the last time was, I can't remember his name, Mr. Huang. The guy who, I think his name is Huang, Mr. Huang, who donated money for the flood relief. He received a key to the city. And then I'm going to butcher their name. It's a music group from San Jose. I think like El Tigre del Norte or something like that. Yeah, they also received a key to the city. I was not involved in the process for either of those, so I don't know what the decision was of why they got a key versus some other commendation. But the main purpose of this is he could pay out of pocket, or you can authorize him to use city funds to pay for the state of the city or the key to the city.
I move approval.
Okay, Councilmember Kamei wanted to ask a question or make a comment first, and then we'll.
Sure.
So I had similar questions in terms of what is this? I also am supportive, but I mean, in terms of the reason why it's coming to us is because of the cost. It's hard for me to know what magnitude. Are we talking about a gold key, or are we like what? Or just having come to us, it could be whatever it is that is spent.
Right. Now, if you want to defer this a week and have the council member come.
You know what I mean? I mean, are we talking, hey, it just happens to be $60 or something? Or are you gonna, or is this like, I don't know what this is, right? So are we I mean, once we say yes, it could be whatever. I'd like a gold key. But I'm just, like, I am supportive. I think it's a great idea, but I don't know what it means.
So I would entertain a motion to postpone for a week and have Councilmember Dewan here next week to tell us more about what he's.
I will move to defer the discussion until next week and request Councilmember Dewan to come and present.
Or his staff?
Or his staff, yeah.
Sure, or staff.
All right, so that's the motion in the second. Councilmember Jimenez?
Yeah, I just think we're overthinking it, and I think if we invite the council member, he's probably just going to tell us exactly what we've already sort of touched on, and I don't know what additional context we need, but because I mean, if it was under $50, I mean, I can give a key to someone tomorrow. I mean, maybe we need the broader discussion is there an established policy at this,
Thank you, Councilmember. I think what you're referring to in terms of an established policy would be the guidelines that the mayor's office is apparently working on, so, given this request. So in what circumstances would council be recognizing someone with a key to the city and those kinds of things? Apparently, at least from an email I had earlier today, there really isn't a guideline.
Yeah, there is not.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is, look, it has a capital in this recommendation, purchase of capital key to the city awards, as if this is something official that we have as a city. It's not that he's purchasing a trophy that's shaped like a key, but I think we're a little uncomfortable with the idea that we're setting some kind of precedent of giving out keys to the city. And I mean, the cost of it, we don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't think the cost is really our concern, because we spend money on these kind of recognitions for people sometimes. But you know, I'm willing to hear from him and have a thoughtful approach to what we should do as far as whether it's a key to the city or not. I mean, he's rising this above just giving a extra gift or something to somebody, but calling it something formal like key to the city. I think many cities are very careful about who gets keys to the city, because we want it to be a special once in a while type of thing. And if we turn this into...
Yeah, I realize if everyone gets one, it's not really all that significant.
Right. So, I mean, the question is, do we want that to be significant or not? I don't know. I think that's my concern too, a little bit of like, if he had just said, I'm getting something, some recognition, I would have felt a little differently.
Well, I'll support it, but I suspect, again, when Councilmember Duan comes, I'm not sure we're going to hear anything that's going to change.
Well, no, I mean, maybe we ought to have that, try to see what we can find out in the meantime from the mayor's office about what it is that they're proposing this be going forward.
And Chair Cohen, what I was going to suggest is perhaps, I think it was Stephen, Tony, that I heard was working on a guideline in the mayor's office. Perhaps he could come next week, or someone in that office could come next week and also give you some sense of what they're looking at. If they don't have a guideline drafted, at least what they're thinking through, and get feedback from rules.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, I mean, I think it's worthy of another discussion. I mean, I understand that it might end up being much ado about nothing, but on the other hand, it's being called something which sounds very official, and since we're being asked to approve it, we ought to maybe think it through. So I'm supportive of the motion. So I guess we'll move on to vote on that motion. All right, motion carries 4-0, and now we're on to open forum.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman. To try to continue to wrap up what I tried to offer at public comment, couldn't be much talked about. I mentioned the dumpster day event, and how that really is a good item to talk about with open public practices. Thank you that you do that. There was a Black April item on yesterday's agenda, and I just wanted to again compliment Councilperson Ortiz's words, who very nicely stated that in our work that we do in San Jose, Vietnamese community is an important part of San Jose. Good luck in the concept of working towards a oneness, and that we are all one, basically, in our work and our efforts. That means compromise from all sides, but towards a good goal, and that we can work together towards that goal. I was really impressed by Councilperson Ortiz's words. I'm not doing it justice how nice he said it. But good luck to that. Just a good piece to have good dialogue and conversation towards goals, shared goals together. I also wanted to mention, I guess it was 48 seconds, about the issues of, the tiny homes. I can see it as a good plateau for ourselves, as a second step. Somebody mentioned yesterday, can you explain the steps to us? What will exactly happen? And I don't think that's being made clear. If it's a good step towards permanent housing, can we do that? Jackie Brand in the housing department, she's been asking for months how we can have a more full housing department to go from start to finish to help people. Why aren't we talking more about those kind of concepts and to fund those sort of things? And to conclude, With 4 seconds, I have more to say on this item. I'll speak
Paul?
another.
Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. I'm going to talk a little bit about constitutional law. The Fifth Amendment states that you cannot deprive someone of life, liberty, or property without just compensation. This is the law. So we obviously know who I'm talking to, who my comments are directed to. And so a legal argument can be made that redlining deprived the Chicanos by name. You have in the documents Mexicans. So by name, you literally deprived the Mexican of property, but you didn't give him his just compensation. So a legal argument can be made that is in your documents because you guys had your documents on your website for probably about 3 months, and I got all of them. And so I skimmed all of them. And what you guys did is you tracked the IP number, and then you cut it off because you knew who was accessing them. Nobody was going after those documents. But most of the city that talks about redlining has never seen a redlining document from the city of San Jose. I have them all because you guys cut them off immediately. And so what I'm saying is that I'm asking the council to really consider putting an agenda item and asking that question, that really hard question. What does reparation mean? What does amend mean? I'll give you the definition of amend. Amend means reparation or compensation for a loss, damage, or injury of any kind, a recompense. So a legal argument can be made that you, the city, deprived the Mexican of property without just compensation by redlining him out of it and depriving him of the capacity to buy it. That's a legal argument, and it's going to stand. Wait till the lawsuit comes.
Back to the committee.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned.